Hey everyone, Joe Axman here, the mediocre astrologer. He's okay. Hope you're all okay. Hope we're all okay. So, in this video, I'm going to continue my series about the houses. So, we're moving on to the third house and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share, and let's get right into it. Let me share my screen. All right, so we got um now o'clock. It's pretty exciting. We're about to move into Aquarius, both the Sun and Pluto at the same time. They're going to conjunct, and then 1 degree separation when they're in Aquarius. I think it's like on the 24th. Um, not not exactly sure, but anyway. All right, so just that's something to look forward to. I talked about the second house. Now we're on to the third house. And what's the third house? Well, it comes after the second house, and that's significant. Why? Because the second house is voice. Third house is what we do with that voice, right? We express, we communicate, we talk, we write, and we use our hands a lot in the third house. We use our intellect. The second house needs the third house, right? Because it's not just like, you know, what's interesting is that, animals will have a second house, like they can, make noises, vocal noises, but they can't communicate very well or very effectively. And at the same time, they don't have their kind of intellectual capacity that we have as well. So it's kind of like the third house is more of a human house, right? So we have the expression, communication, um, writing, speaking, intellect, thinking, right? So a lot of like intellectual pursuits are seen by the third house. It's short distance travel, so driving, running around. You'll see sports here in the third house as well, because people running, in various sports, um, short distance running as opposed to long distance travel in the ninth house, right? So driving as well, you can see around here, especially like driving around town, the hood, the neighborhood, friends of the hood, right? So like social situations, very casual social situations like neighbors, right? People who you just know from being in the same area and the place you live in, not necessarily the home, that would be fourth house, but the neighborhood you live in can be seen by the third house. Siblings are seen here as family members, right? Um, brothers, sisters, things of that nature. 11th house can also be siblings, but the main house for siblings is third house, right? So media also can be seen here, radio, theater, um, stuff like that. What else? Body work. You'll see a lot of body work with third house activity because working with the hands. So like, massage therapists or it could be other, like anything with the hands. Chiropractor, um, any sort of healing modality that uses the hands. Um, and you can also see fighting, especially if it's tied into the sixth house, like the lords are exchanging or, conjunct or aspecting, because the competitive nature of the fifth house, third house, right? It's very skilled. Musical instruments can be seen here, guitar playing, all musical instruments, right? Because they pretty much all use their hands, right? Skills, drawing skills are seen here as well, right? Being very technically skilled with your hands, being very intellectually capable. So all these things are third house. When the second and third house are connected, either by lords, second and the third, or third and the second, you get very skilled vocalization, right? When it's the sixth, like I said, you can get like fighting or even health, right? Either one, because sixth house is relating to health. Third house, hands. 12th house could be very creative and skilled at the same time. Same with fifth and third, can be very creative. With the third and 12th, you might get hands and feet combinations, right? So it could be like dancing or moving or martial arts or something like that, right? The third house is a house of intellect, so therefore, um, there you can see intellectual, like mental health imbalances from the third house, especially if there's a moon here, moon in the third, where it's not Balance. Like it's badly aspected by Pluto, Mars, perhaps Aquarius or Scorpio, or even though the moon isn't terrible in Aquarius, Aquarius is kind of a such high level, like they say, like they always say, the old cliche, there's a fine line between brilliance and insanity, or genius and insanity. Um, but Aquarius can signify like trauma as well. But Scorpio, Moon in Capricorn, Moon Pluto, Moon Saturn, think more badly aspected Moon in the third can show mental imbalance here. In other words, if Sun is in the third, then you can have a lot of skills related to the third house, just in general, right? Sun is a great, generally speaking, whatever house the sun is in, that's where you'll shine, right? That's where you can really shine your brightest light. Um, Mercury will be very intellectual here. You can be very scientific or very skilled with your hands. So, skills in general, just like technical skills, mechanical skills, you can see a lot of in the third house. Let's see, Venus in the third could be a very like a poetic writing or beautiful writing, aesthetic writing, creative writing, things like that, creative communications. Um, um, Mars in the third would be good for technical skills like guitar playing, handwork, fighting, um, sports, running around, anything more physical or technical or mechanical. Um, Jupiter in the third would be great for writing, um, or any sort of media or intellect, right? Intellectual pursuit, but I've seen it with writing a lot. Um, Saturn in the third would be great for the intellect. It could be good for writing as well, like writing long, novels even, but Saturn would be very like even more scientific, especially with Mercury. If you had like Mercury and Saturn in a good sign, like in an air sign in the third house, that'd be very scientific. Right. Um, then Uranus in the third could be quite brilliant, right? Could be borderline, depending on other aspects, but maybe a little bit, kind of crazy, right? Because Uranus, but it could be quite brilliant, even genius type people. I mean, it obviously depends. It depends on the whole chart, but definitely interesting intellectual capacity. Neptune in the third could be very creative in their communications, imagining, writing very like writing imaginary stories, storytelling, um, creative writing, creative communications, creative intellect. Pluto would be very psychological and deep and intense as far as their communication. Their expression might be very harsh, right? Their speaking might be like really intense, the way they communicate, as well as their writing, their intellect. Could be psychological, could be astrology even. Same with Uranus. Um, yeah. Um, Very, very deep thinking, very deep and intense with Pluto in the third. Um, Obsessive about their intellect, communication, and things like that. What else? I mean, I think that's pretty much it. If North Node's in the third, then you're gonna have like, especially in the second half of your life, then all the third house is gonna become very activated, right? Writing, communication, short distance travel, body work, that sort of thing. Working with your hands, skills of the hands. Um, if South Node, then it's a skill from the early childhood, right? Maybe you're just like gifted with the piano growing up, or gifted drawing or writing, anything with the hands. It depends on the whole chart. You'd have to see. Um, but that's basically it. No real need to belabor any of this. If Chiron is here, then maybe you're bullied by your siblings or by people in the neighborhood, right? If it was badly aspected. Chiron's not always bad. if it's well aspected, Chiron could make you a very unique creative writer, right? Because Chiron can just be so out of the box in its creativity. So, um, I think that's it. No need to really carry this out any longer. That's pretty much the bulk of the third house. Also, the third house is square the 12th house, so you can get like that psychological stimulation from the third house with like writing, journaling, communicating, therapy. Why that's why it's also, like talk therapy. That's why it's third house stimulating, squaring the 12th house. That's why it's so effective, right? And the mudras, the traditional mood. I don't know how to do them, but that's going to stimulate the mind, right? Clapping your hands, that's a great way to, stimulate the intellect. So yeah, all that. Interesting thought. Why do people clap their hands when somebody performs? Um, no, I'm not going to give you an answer to that, probably because I don't have a. It's just an intuitive kind of. I haven't really thought. It's just a question that came to me, but like it's really interesting because that's invoking the third house, right? So people clap after a performance or clap to celebrate something, right? It's kind of stimulating the subconscious mind, elevating things, celebrate, bringing up raising the energy, right? So that's interesting. Anyway, um, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed that short third house overview. And yeah, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Book a reading with me. I'll see you guys again soon. And mediocre astrologer signing off. Man, he's okay. So guys, laugh it off. Take a victory laugh. Win before you win, and all that good stuff. I'll see you again soon. All right, thanks. Bye.